Welcome back to Couch Talk, everybody. I just got back from seeing the movie Overlord. This movie is directed by Julius Avery. He also did Son of Gun or Son of a Gun with Ewan McGregor and the new kid that's playing Robin in the Titans TV show. It stars Hovind or Jovan Adipo. He was the son in Fences. John Magaro. He was the kid in the new Jack Ryan TV show. He was like the one that was like the drone pilot that had some problems he had to work out in the show. If you've seen it, you know who I'm talking about. He was one of the standouts in that show, in my opinion. Wyatt Russell, who's also Kurt Russell's son, and he most notably, like, the only thing I really remember him from was 22 Jump Street. Pretty sure he was in an episode of Black Mirror, but I don't watch that show. And Pilo Asbeck, I don't know if I'm saying that right. He was pretty much the main villain of this movie. Now I gotta say, the only other movie, like I said, that I know this director from is Son of a Gun, and I seen it, and it was actually pretty good. It was like one of those straight to DVD movies, straight to Netflix or whatever you want to call it. I didn't get like a big release or anything, but it was a nice, tight, little confined movie, and it did a good job for what it was setting out to do. And my God, what a bunch of money can do, because I would never think watching this movie that it was the same director, because the style is just completely different. Not that the directing is completely different, because like, you know, he films things in like really like wide open shots and wide angles, and all very beautifully done. The cinematography is great. It's just the graphics and the CGI in this movie are incredible. From the first scene of this movie when they're on the plane getting shot down, I was quickly brought into this world and drawn in and hooked, and I loved every second of this movie. This is a movie that I didn't think I needed, but I'm so glad that I have. I played Nazi zombies a lot growing up, and although this movie isn't super like Nazi zombies, like this movie isn't them just like sitting in a house and defending off waves of zombies. There is a story here, although the story is the weakest element of this movie. I mean, really, the whole point is, you know, these troops land after their plane gets shot down, and they have to take out a recon tower that's like, it has like some signal that's like disrupting radars, so like they can't send more troops in. And upon trying to destroy it with a small squad of people that survived the plane crash, they discover a base where the Nazis are creating zombies. Thus, we have the story. It's pretty basic, it's pretty straightforward, but the story isn't what matters here. It's everything else. All the acting is top notch and really good. John Magaro, honestly, is the standout here. He has this like funny little Italian accent throughout the whole movie that's a little hard to get on board with in the beginning because I'm just not used to hearing it, but he sells it, and he's definitely funny. He brings a lot of comic relief to this movie because it is a very serious movie. Wyatt Russell is definitely the hardened like badass of the movie. He gets a lot of the badass shit to do in this, and you know, he made a big leap from 22 Jump Street where he played like just this like stupid like jock stoner guy. He plays a very serious, like, hardened man here. And I gotta say, I really liked him in this movie. He served a big purpose. Jovan or Juan Adipo, he was great. He was great in Fences. I really enjoyed that movie. It wasn't as good as I would have liked it to be. I thought Denzel's character was really good, and his son was really good, but everything outside of that, it was a little slow for me. But here, he gets a chance to shine. He is the main lead. He doesn't have a whole lot of badass shit to do, but he has the biggest character arc in terms of where he is at the beginning of the movie and where he is at the end and who he becomes. And Pilu Asbeck, God, I don't know if I'm saying that name right. He is like the villain. He's the main Nazi general that they keep going toe to toe with, and he's really good too. He is really fucking creepy in this movie. He has a lot of scene stealing moments, and he is the big driving force of what happens to these characters towards the end of the movie. I can't go into spoilers, but everything with that character I absolutely loved. He definitely chewed the scenes every time he was in this. Now, without going into crazy spoilers, I do have to say that this movie does not have as many zombies in it as I would have thought it was going to, but that's okay. This movie is more like 80% like them fighting just regular Nazis and 20% them fighting these zombies. They do change the lore of zombies a little bit. Like, headshots should kill zombies, but they don't here. And they're not like mindless, just brain dead zombies. Essentially, they're using this serum in this vial that they have to inject into dead Nazi soldiers to bring them back, and it really just increases their strength and makes them really powerful. However, the serum isn't perfected yet, so there are some side effects, thus the decaying flesh and everything like that. But they do still kind of have a conscience, and they're not like eating people either. So These are just dead coming back to life with super strength. It's not the zombies you know and love. It's not, the flesh eating zombies. It's just dead coming back to life. There's really no other way to explain it. They kind of changed the lore of zombies a little bit, and one of my friends who is a huge zombie fan, like his favorite movie of all time is Dawn of the Dead, the original, not the Zack Snyder remake. He was a little disappointed in seeing this movie because zombies are like one of his favorite things, and they changed a lot about it. I mean, it's zombie law. You shoot a zombie in the head and they die, and that's just not the case here. Like, they're throwing punches just like you are, and they have a mind of their own, so they're smart, undead people. But I loved it. I love the changes. I love how it changed a little bit because it kind of left me on my seat wondering what was going to happen next because I couldn't predict what these kind of zombies would do. And the action was just top notch. That's the star of this movie. It's the action. It's so good. The way he films all of the scenes. When the bullets are hitting these soldiers, it's not just like a little like cloud of like blood that comes out. It is bloody. Like you see bullet holes exploding off the chest. It's almost, Django Unchained-esque violence where like each bullet is like an explosion of blood. And although unrealistic, it's very stylish and just very fun to watch. I particularly had a really rough day at work that day, and during the trailers I was nodding off in the theater, and I was a little afraid that I would sleep through this movie, but it is so loud and there's just constantly action and explosions and gunshots and fight scenes in it that it kept me on the edge of my seat, and it was really intense. I mean, this movie isn't really that scary, but the performances are all so good. The action was top notch. The end of this movie where like the zombies really come into play, that was really creepy. Like, don't get me wrong, when you see these things chasing people down the halls, it's creepy, but it wasn't like really scary the way a zombie movie is scary. It was more action. This movie focused more on the horrors of war than the horror of the zombies, and that's okay because I think that as a war movie, this could have done just as good even without the zombies. So the fact that they added the zombies in there was a nice little, just like extra. Would I have liked to see a little bit more zombies in it? Yeah, I would have liked to see them mowing down some more zombies. I would have liked maybe a 3-minute little scene of them held up like in a house, like just a nod to the old Call of Duty game, like where it first came about, and just like them held up in the house and just fending off against like maybe 10 of them, just to get that like image of like this is what that game would have looked like. It was real. You don't really get that, but they do a lot of unique stuff here, and I completely forgive them for not, following Call of Duty and making their own path with this. I absolutely fucking loved this movie, and I'm really upset that it's one of those one and done things. I mean, maybe it's better off, and it's just one of those things where now, once a year or whatever, when I'm feeling it, I can just pop it in on Blu-ray and watch it, because I'm definitely going to buy it on Blu-ray. But I'm almost sad that I won't get to see more of this in this world, because I love this guy's style, I love these characters, and I definitely would have liked to see them take on some more zombies in future installments. Like, they kind of end this movie like with a nice bow. It could be considered a one and done, and you never have to make any more. But with a little bit of tweaking to the writing, they definitely could have did another one. I mean, really, it's all up to how it does at the box office at this point. Maybe if it makes tons and tons and tons of money, they'll consider a way to like make another one, maybe with different characters in a different setting. But as of right now, I don't know. It made $20 million in its opening weekend. I'm pretty sure it's like a $32 million budget, so it doesn't need to make a whole lot. I don't know if it's going to get a wide like China release or anything like that, but one can only hope, because I want this movie to succeed really well. It's really rare that you get original movies like this when we live in a world where it's just constant remakes of Disney movies and superhero movies. So I hope this movie gets the recognition it deserves. Anyway, I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I had no problems with this movie. I loved every second of it. The music, the action, the performances, the zombies, the setting, the style, the cinematography, just everything about it. Everyone did great. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited about this movie? Do you want to see this movie? I know a lot of people aren't like really turning heads at it because it doesn't have any A-list actors in it, but I'm telling you, it's totally worth it. I feel like if there were A-list actors in it, it would have taken away from the setting, but it was kind of nice to have like a bunch of like B-list actors almost, because no one could outshine each other. Also, has this review changed your mind about it? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and as always, I'll catch you next time.